représentant de la Tunisie pour sa déclaration. J'invite à présent le représentant de l'Indonésie à faire sa déclaration.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, at the outset, Indonesia would like to thank the Presidency for convening this briefing today. I would also like to thank all briefers for their very comprehensive and insightful presentations. Mr. President, before the COVID-19 outbreak, an estimated 690 million people, almost 10% of the world's population, is hungry. 75% of the world's malnourished people live in conflict zones. And it is again the situation before the outbreak. I joined the USG in his September report in saying that we need concrete measures to break the various circle between armed conflict and violence and food insecurity. The recommendations contained in the report are a good starting point for us to focus on our actions. Protection of civilians will remain to be Indonesia's top priority and should always be the core aim of the Security Council. It is becoming more pertinent to implement Resolution 2417, particularly in this time of COVID-19. Mr. President, allow me to focus on the following pertinent points. First, famine should never be used as a method of warfare. All parties should comply with international humanitarian law, something that was also emphasized earlier by the USG Lowcock as well as several council members. They need to adhere to the Secretary General's call for a global ceasefire and access for humanitarian assistance during the COVID-19 pandemic. Nevertheless, actors who are active in most conflicts today continue to violate these. Attacks against humanitarian workers and medical facilities continue to persist as a deliberate disruption of humanitarian access. Second, international cooperation is of vital importance in protecting civilians. We need to close the gap between countries' responsibility in protecting civilians and their capacity to do so. The countries mentioned in the report, DRC, Yemen, Nigeria, South Sudan, Somalia, Burkina Faso, and Afghanistan, needs international support, including through technical and financial assistance that are truly vital to enable capacity building. It is saddening that humanitarian response is funded by less than 35%. In the DRC, that number is as low as 22%, while a staggering 21.8 million people are acutely food insecure. In contrast, 1.3 billion tons of food are wasted each year. Just like the distinguished representative of Germany, we believe it is important to bring these statistics in order to allow us putting our discussion in the right context. The Council must be able to facilitate measures to strengthen countries' capacities to protect the civilians, including their food security. Third, the imperative to protect civilians must be embedded throughout the peace continuum, from conflict prevention and peacekeeping to peace building and sustainable development. It is clear for peace to flourish, sustainable development is required. It is a synergy. And when we are talking about synergy, it is also a synergy among existing UN bodies and agencies in addressing this particular issue. The 2030 Agenda and the UN peace-building architecture are the tools disposable for us in achieving this. Let us utilize these tools. Mr. President, to close, Indonesia will continue in our determination as enshrined in the UN Charter to save succeeding generations from the scores of war. This is our collective effort, as mentioned by the Executive Director Beasley earlier. It is time to step up, not to step down. No one should be left behind, and no one should be left hungry. I thank you, Mr. President.
Je remercie le représentant de l'Indonésie pour sa déclaration